Whatever direction you're traveling is part of your journey. After a brief foray south, where we were pinned down by two fierce storms,
this is not what we signed up for.
No. It's time to start traveling north, toward Beaufort and Parris Island, South Carolina. Into a consistent north wind, the ocean isn't an option for us. That means we'll be negotiating the 9-foot tidal changes and narrow passages of the ICW. Hell Gate and Fields Cut are just two of the dangers we'll need to overcome. With little boating experience, we're truly worried about what lies ahead.
We are at our first anchorage, starting our journey north, and things didn't go quite as planned.
Probably shouldn't be here. This is plan C, was coming here. We didn't really know the anchorage. We wanted to go to a free marina, and it was full. Then the anchorage across from it was plan B, it was full. So we came here, and it was our only option left. The sun's starting to get a little low, so we wanted to get anchored for the night. But as you can see, it's way too much fetch, which is just area for the wind to come across this water and push us. Too much wind, too much current, so it's not a good place to anchor. That's why we're the only boat here. Went to put the chain out, it got knotted in the windlass, so the windlass was spinning without the chain going through it. That loosened it up. We didn't recognize that right away. Got the knot undone, then the chain just started shooting out. Grabbed a hold of that, and Monica pushed the boat forward, so just to stop that. That pulled out our snubber. So the snubber is down in the water somewhere attached to the chain, about 50 feet from the boat right now. Not a big deal, except tomorrow when we pull the chain up, we're worried the snubber could get caught in the props, which would really be a problem for us.
Leaving our anchorage the next morning, we were relieved that the snubber was not caught in the propeller, and we were free to continue our trip north. Leg 2, Jacksonville to Fernandina Beach. We seemed to be the only one going north, as everybody else was heading south for the winter. After an uneventful day on the water, we pulled up to a mooring ball in Fernandina Beach just in time for the sun to set.
Touch the horn real quick.
It's working.
Yes, it worked. Sometimes you need to turn the breaker on
To make it work.
to make it work.
So what's going on today?
We're going further north. We've been headed north now for a couple legs of our journey, from St. Augustine to Blount Island, and Blount Island here to Fernandina Beach, and now we're headed to Jekyll Island, where we're going to be in a marina for a few days where we can plug in and have some heat.
Why do we have to plug in?
The generator stopped working this morning when we were charging the batteries and heating the boat, so it needs to be addressed.
Oh. How many layers of clothes you have on?
I just have on 3 because I'm planning on turning the heat on once we get the engines going.
Okay.
And we're kind of standing over the engine room, so it'll heat up a little bit here. We're hoping. Where you headed, Monica?
Up north! Wrong direction! We currently just made it into Georgia, and it's freezing up here. But if you're dressed for it, it's okay.
So our generator stopped working the other day and it is really cold. In our area of the world, which is currently Georgia, it's below average temperature. So it's very important that our generator works because our generator is what gives us heat. So when we are out on the water, we can't plug in anywhere. We have to have the generator going in order to have any kind of heat on the boat. So with the generator not working, we are going to look for 3 things that we know how to do. The first one is the air filter could be clogged. Number 2, the impeller could have an issue, and also the air strainer. So we are, not the air strainer, the water strainer for the impeller. So sea strainer is what it's called. So fingers crossed that it's one of those 3 things, because if it's not, then it's going to be a much bigger problem. It doesn't look too bad, so we'll take it out and clean it.
What are you doing now, Monica?
So now I am just loosening the plate that holds the impeller in place, and the impeller we replaced just a few months ago, so it shouldn't be the impeller. And we also checked the water coming out on the side of the boat when we turned the generator on, and water was coming out. But since we're down here messing with this thing, we figured we'll just loosen the plate and see if the impeller looks like it's all in one piece, and it does. If the impeller is missing some of its pieces, then that will not allow the water to flow correctly, so then you have to replace the impeller, which we have spare impellers, but there's no reason to replace something that's not broken.
And the impeller is cooling, that water that the impeller is pulling through the system is cooling the engine, correct?
Yes, it is cooling down the engine. So we checked the impeller is good, the air filter is good, and we cleaned the sea strainer. And those are the 3 things that we're very comfortable with maintaining ourselves, and all that is good. So when we turn the generator on, we're hoping that probably could have been the air filter, and that all will be well.
So, good news. Monica seems to have fixed the generator again. We ran it for about an hour, charged up our batteries. It worked flawless. It stayed at about 150 degrees, which is a little under what its operating temperature is. So, again, really good news for us. That means that we don't have to pay a diesel mechanic a ton of money to fix it for us.
After we got our heat working, we made it to Jekyll Harbor Marina on Jekyll Island. It's a small barrier island, only 7 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. And it felt good with something to eat.
Monica, what are you cooking?
Well, I don't know if it's qualify as cooking, but I'm putting together a simple pizza. As you know, I don't like cooking, so I always look for easy ways to fill our bellies, and I'm just buying pita and basically just putting on whatever we like. And for Darren, it's very simple because he doesn't really like much of anything. You won't agree to that.
That's not true, Monica. I love cheese pizza.
You love cheese pizza. So mine has a little bit of tomatoes, some onions, and I'm gonna sprinkle some basil and different spices on it. Yeah, and put it into our fancy new oven. We just bought a toaster oven that's also an air fryer, and you're supposed to be able to make really simple meals in it. So that's what we're having for dinner. So whether it's good or not, that's what's gonna fill our bellies.
It looks delicious.
While at Jekyll Island, you can't pass up Driftwood Beach. Worth noting about this beach is that Jekyll Island has a 9-foot tide difference, so you'll see more beach if you go at low tide.
So we're about halfway now from St. Augustine up to Parris Island, South Carolina, where we're going to go for our son's Marine Corps graduation. We're stopping today at a place called New Kettle Creek, which is off of the ICW. So our last experience with anchoring was just a disaster. We're lucky we got out of it with no damage, no loss, no injury. So today it went much, much better. So what we did is we put out about 150 feet of chain.
Sea Star has an all-chain rode, which means there is no give when the wind and current move the boat. In rough conditions, the shock load on the chain could transfer to the anchor, causing it to dislodge. The elasticity in the rope snubber takes the shock for the chain, protecting the anchor, the boat, and the windlass in the process.
Okay, so how we tie the snubber onto the anchor chain is with a Magnus hitch. The Magnus hitch is similar to a rolling hitch, but a little bit different and I think easier to tie. If this is our chain that we've just put out, what I do with the snubber is I wrap it once over the top of the chain, a second time over the top of the chain, then it comes across the rope, under the anchor chain, and then you just clean it up. And that's a Magnus hitch. So this is the knot that I use, and I wasn't taught this. I actually looked it up on YouTube, and I saw a couple boaters that I respected that did it this way. But I'd love to hear in the comments below how you tie your snubber onto the anchor chain. This is actually the first time I haven't been cold in days.
Yeah.
It's actually a tad bit warm.
Right.
Thank you. So this is our Thanksgiving meal, first one that we've had ever without our family. So when I was growing up, I always had my mother and dad and my siblings, and then since we've been a family, we've had our children. This is the first year where it's just been the two of us.
Yeah. So what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that we have this boat. It was less than a year ago that we made the decision to sell everything and buy the boat and move onto the water with no boating experience whatsoever. We have learned with the help of countless people what we're doing on the water. And I'm super, super thankful that it's going well and that we're learning every day. We make mistakes, stuff happens, stuff breaks, and so far we've been able to fix it. So I'm very thankful for that.
And going well doesn't mean that everything is perfect.
No.
It means that there's ups and downs, and sometimes too many downs, and you get a little bit frustrated. But you know that nothing is ever the same, so things do get better again.
Yes.
So to our first Thanksgiving alone.
To our first Thanksgiving alone.
On the boat.
On the boat.
On the water.
On the water.
Not at a dock.
Not at a dock. This is delicious, Monica. You made an outstanding meal.
Thank you. And I keep saying I don't even like to cook, but I'm finding shortcuts for how to make it less tedious. So I've cheated quite a lot actually on this meal.
Here's to less tedious.
Less tedious.
Less tedious. So this is our first Thanksgiving on the boat, and it's also Kaya's first Thanksgiving on the boat. So we've finished our meal and started feeling a little bit guilty, so we made Kaya her own little Thanksgiving plate. Monica insisted that she have peas. See how that goes. She go, Renee. She go. Not exactly what we had in mind.
No. Upside down on the carpet with gravy.
Gravy. Hiya, boy. It's a good thing Thanksgiving's only one time a year. Shocker, she doesn't want the peas, Monica. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to Monica and I that you would choose to spend your time with us.
And if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, so that way you'll be notified of future episodes.
And if you think your friends might enjoy watching, then please share with them. They may appreciate it, and it will definitely help us to grow our channel.
Thanks again for watching. We hope to see you soon.